This is the Wingspan player board. On it, now on the left hand side, you have all the options you can take on your turn. You must choose one of these four options. Playing a bird, you must look at the habitat it is played into, the food it requires, and also if there is an egg cost of that column. Birds like this have a when played power that only activates once too. The other three are slightly different. Gain food, lay eggs and draw birds. You all look at the first column next to that row that is free. So if birds cover up these columns, then you're going to get more powerful variants of the actions. So here we see I'm taking a gain food action. I have 2 birds in the habitat, so I can gain 2 food. I then move the cube left along, activating any brown powers on my birds. This one lets me check the top of the deck for a bird with a certain wing size. Unfortunately it doesn't fit, so I don't get to tuck that bird, which will score me points at the end. And the next one lets me check for a different wing size, and this one does fit, so I can tuck it under my bird there, and that will score me a point at the end for every bird tucked. I then move the cube to the left hand column, and that shows that I have taken my goes. In the first turn I'll be taking 8 goes, in the second round I'll be taking 7, and so on, as one of your cubes goes on to the end of round scoring track, like so. This is the mean variant, where only one player can take each box. On the other side you can have a nicer variant where everyone can score a maximum of 5 points. The player who achieves the most of these in each round takes the top spot. The bird powers are either brown, which are activated as you activate that row, white, which are activated when you play the card, or pink, which activate once on another player's turn. So if I'm taking food here, I take the rat token, put it there, and now there are 3 exactly the same dice in the feeder, so I may, if I wish, re-roll all the dice. As soon as the dice show the exact same food or side in the feeder, they are re-rolled. The other way to score points is to complete your end of game scoring cards, and nicely they tell you how many percentage of the cards will achieve this. So you've got a little kind of look and idea at how easy it's going to be. The components in this game, as per Stonemeier's usual standards, are excellent. The eggs are great, the boards are great, they even look like a kind of folder that you take out into the wild, and the dice tray is fantastic. Wingspan is another game that makes me question how much theme is important to me in games. I've seen some people really hate the fact that this is a bird theme, and upon playing it, although the theme is there and it's strong in one sense, I feel that the game itself has such good gameplay that it warrants a look, whether the theme puts you off or not. I think the biggest thing that contributes to the theme in Wingspan is the fantastic components, from the eggs to the birdhouse dice roller, what is it called? Dice tower, to the art on the birds themselves, to the player boards that fold up and look like a kind of record-keeping device made from leather. I think the theming in terms of components is fantastic. Mechanically, it's going to be very difficult to capture the theme of bringing birds into your own habitats and things like that. And I don't have a problem with that, because what Wingspan does well is it gives me a smooth, neat engine building game where my challenge is to build 3 good engines that get me the resources I need to get the points that I need. And what I found is that points can come through a number of different tracks. You can go for big scoring birds which give you less abilities, or you can go for your endgame scoring cards and try and get more of those. Or you can just absolutely blam your birds with eggs, which are obviously worth points. So yeah, the mechanics behind the game are solid, and when a theme is not attached mechanically, I like to see a real effort on the component side to bridge that shortfall, I guess. And Wingspan does that almost perfectly. When you're looking at components and the only thing you can complain about is that the score pad is a little bit plain, you know a game has done quite a lot right. This game scales well with all player counts, and I really like the de-escalating actions. So what I mean by that is at the start of the game you have 8 rounds in the 8 actions in the first round, but one of your action cues that you use to track your actions is going to be placed on the end round scoring card. So next round you're only going to have 7, then 6, then 5. But this, what this achieves is it achieves a quick playing, quick flowing game that doesn't drag when the engines get bigger. In other engine building games where the engines can be admittedly more complex, you find that your first few goes don't take very much time at all, but as you go and your engine builds, your turns start taking a lot of time. Wingspan gets round this by, as the engines expand, you have less chances to use them, and it works really well. In terms of accessibility, I've played this with my game group. They found it lighter than they were expecting, and that is a comment I've heard a lot. I don't think it's 100% accurate, but I can see where it comes from. And I've also played it with my non-game playing wife. She likes Articulate and things where you don't have to move from the sofa. But this is a game she would not normally choose to play upon hearing the description. However, she played this and she beat me. Now, she didn't get all the ins and outs, but because on your turn you're choosing from 4 actions, you mark those with a cube, it's very clear what you're doing, what the other person has done, it worked really well for her, and I think she'd play next time very differently because now she's starting to understand the powers on the birds a bit more. So what I'm saying is that someone played this game not really grasping all the powers and all that, had a really good time and beat me. That's perhaps the less impressive out of that sentence, the last bit. So Wingspan is a great game. It makes you feel like you're achieving something as you get these engines going. You can sacrifice one engine's efficiency to really build the others and only use that one when you need to. I love the way that in many ways playing a card from your hand is the worst action because it doesn't trigger an engine. And even though you need to play cards from your hand to build your engines, to make your engines better, when it comes to that time you're like, but I only get to play a card, I don't get to go and activate all my powers. And that's good, that's a good choice to have to make. That's a good decision that a game forces you to make. So Wingspan has really won me over. I think in the box there is enough variety to keep me going. Every time I've played it, my engine has been quite different to the last time. I've focused maybe on eggs or maybe on birds. There is enough in there to keep me going, especially when the game clocks in at under an hour as well. I'm gushing a bit, so I'm going to go to my rating system. So, does Wingspan have an intimidation factor? Yeah, it does a little bit. For gamers, no. For gamers, not much. For people new to the gaming hobby or who don't play much, there might be more of an intimidation factor, and that might feel like a surprise to a gamer because they see Wingspan as quite light, but I think it's in that kind of dual-layered aspect of, yes, it's easy to play, but to understand everything that's going on, that's not quite so easy. Is the instruction book good? Yes, this is Stonemaier. The instruction books are phenomenal. Is it fun? I've had so much fun with this. So much fun. It's a big, big recommendation for me. It's absolutely staying in my recommendation. I think it's going to be very hard to get hold of initially, but there will be more print runs. Don't buy it at silly prices. Use your patience and wait for it to come in stock. Thanks very much for watching Zatu. We'll be back with another review soon.